Shut up. I just wanted to say hi to them. Shut up. Face the wall. Turn around. Turn around. Good movement, sir. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Yeah. And you weren't really sparring. You were fighting. We were fighting all the time. And just guys getting dropped all the time. And that was just the kind of gym that I was in.
But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
Joe Rogan has weighed in on the rumored arrest of Jake Paul over allegations that some of his boxing matches were scripted. Rogan made it clear that no headline, payday, or viral moment is worth putting your life on the line. He emphasized that boxing is a brutal sport where real damage can happen in seconds, and it should never be treated like entertainment theater. According to reports, Rogan believes Paul needs to seriously rethink his path before stepping into the ring again, warning that chasing fame or fast money through dangerous fights could come with consequences that last far beyond the spotlight.
Because then you can't think, you can't do things, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. It's like literally everything is the quality of your ability to think.
Nakisa Bidarian has firmly denied any wrongdoing surrounding Jake Paul and the rumored scripting of a fight with Anthony Joshua. Addressing the speculation head-on, Bidarian called the claims completely false and irresponsible, particularly rumors suggesting there was an agreement preventing Joshua from knocking Paul out. He stated that Joshua competed seriously and without any arrangement, and that Paul trained hard, stepped into the ring willingly, and accepted the real risks that come with professional boxing. Bidarian also revealed that legal steps are being taken against individuals spreading what he described as damaging misinformation. According to him, setting the record straight is essential to protect the reputations of Paul and his team, making it clear that the bout was legitimate and not scripted in any way.
I've seen the script, rigged, this, that, and the other. Do you think now, at the very least, that talk goes away? Broke his jaw, went in there against Anthony Joshua. At the very least, do you think that you guys can move on from that? Like, that won't follow you?
No, I don't. I actually, our lawyers are actively going after a number of people. One who claims to be a lawyer himself online. I don't remember the name or the handle, but it was something that had like 200,000 likes. And basically this post said there was an agreement for AJ not to knock out Jake, but AJ disregarded the agreement and decided to not get his payday, but knock out Jake Paul. So it's pretty astonishing what people say. Your dear friend Lou DiBella, saw him put up a bunch of ridiculous things and even said, Nikisa, go ahead and sue me. But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
And so for the people, again, just to clear this up, because I asked Eddie this question, I'll ask you the exact same question. Once and for all, was there any sort of arrangement as far as it should go this many rounds? Because that's the one that I've heard. Oh, Anthony agreed to 3 rounds, 4 rounds. Can you tell us in black and white if there were any talks of any kind between the network, the promotion, the fighter?
There has never once in Jake Paul's career been any talk of that sort, of anything to do with the fight being anything but a real fight that has exactly the same situation as any professional fight. And that's exactly the same thing here for the Anthony Joshua fight. It's just beyond mind-blowing that people would think that. Anthony Joshua was on record saying that if he didn't finish him in the first round, that would be disappointing, that it would be a failure. The narrative changed as we got closer to fight night and obviously post-fight, and I understand why, but they were pretty adamant it would take max 2.
Joe Rogan has reportedly cautioned Jake Paul against making reckless decisions inside the ring, urging him to think carefully before taking on high-risk matchups. Rogan emphasized that no milestone, payday, or surge in fame is worth putting one's long-term health or life on the line. He pointed out that boxing is unforgiving by nature, and even one dangerous moment can have permanent consequences. According to Rogan, chasing attention or massive headlines should never outweigh safety and responsibility, reminding fighters that the risks in combat sports are very real and must always be respected.
The thing, look at all them celebrities like dude from the Mighty Ducks, the little boy actor that got strung out on drugs, and all his fronts and all his teeth were missing from being on meth or whatever, whatever drug of choice he was on. There's no coming back from that. The people who like dissipate their teeth through drug usage, you don't get like a second set. So if I'm not mistaken, the dude from Mighty Ducks, somebody like he's been clean and they gave him a makeover and he has like pretty much fake teeth. So yeah, the teeth are going to be cooked. Now, I agree with the other part that Rogan was saying, but let's keep going.
I think he went into that fight knowing that was probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the big win for him would be that he was even willing to do it and that he could do well for a little bit.
Yeah, and I've already expressed my thoughts on this. I'm not giving no props for a person who says I am a real deal boxer because I went in and get smashed and got my jaw broken, but I lasted longer than Ngannou. But I was crazy enough to try, because to be honest, we're way past the honeymoon stage with a person like Jake Paul. You've been in this for long enough to go through fight camps, dedicate your time, effort, energy, money, spar with people. You spar with some quality names because you have resources and money or whatever. So we're well past that, to the point where you just get credit for stepping in. You maybe got credit your first fight or whatever, first couple of fights, for coming from your background and, you know, stepping in and fighting, but we're well past that. You have a box rec. You were being ranked by sanctioning bodies in
Eddie Hearn offered a detailed breakdown of the fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, explaining that everything unfolded according to a calculated game plan. He noted that Joshua's camp focused on patience, ring control, and disciplined pressure rather than rushing for a quick knockout. The strategy was to gradually test Paul's stamina, expose defensive gaps, and apply steady aggression at the right moments. Hearn stressed that this is what elite-level boxing looks like: measured execution, smart timing, and tactical awareness instead of wild exchanges. In his view, the fight demonstrated how experience and composure can systematically break down an opponent, proving that true championship performances are built on intelligence and structure, not just power.
He said before the fight, I'm going to break him down and then I'm going to knock him out. And that's exactly what he did. I thought it'd be all over within 3 rounds. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, because I was shouting, just, you know, anywhere, arm. I got in, he went, what are you rushing me for? And I was like, oh, sorry. So, but like, obviously he knows what he's doing, and actually now quite pleased that we got the rounds, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw you said that. Really random, I was on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul's mum said she wants to get in the ring and punch you. She said she doesn't like the smug look on your face. She is promoting her book, so I'm not sure if she wants, you know. But did you see that? What did you think of that?
No, I was very sad, because I couldn't have been nicer and more respectful of Jake and what he's done. And I think Logan's amazing. I think he's an incredible athlete. And I shook Jake Paul's dad's hand in the ring, you know. And if I would have seen Mum, I would have said, all right. But I think over the years, we've obviously had our beef, and she probably don't like me anyway. And I am probably a little bit smug. I wasn't smug after the fight, because I would have been more smug if it was all over in a round. Yeah. So, no, I'll give Jake respect. And, yeah. Sorry, Jake's mum doesn't like me, but if you...
Adam Catterall delivered a blunt evaluation of the fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, pointing to what he sees as a widening gap in modern boxing where fame can shape opportunities more than credentials. He argued that Paul's fast track into headline bouts has been fueled largely by his online influence rather than years of elite-level seasoning. Catterall noted that even without going full throttle, Joshua showed superior control, timing, and shot selection, landing punches that clearly illustrated the difference in experience and class. That imbalance, he suggested, naturally fuels speculation about outside pressures and the commercial forces surrounding high-profile crossover events. While stopping short of validating rumors, he acknowledged the chatter about pacing and risk management, saying it reflects broader concerns about spectacle-driven matchmaking. In his view, when entertainment value begins to outweigh competitive merit, it challenges the traditional standards of professional boxing, where skill, preparation, and proven ability are supposed to define who steps into the ring.
Own credibility, I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed. Yeah. And with the punch you said that you landed, it's not his best punch, it's his most powerful punch, right? Yep. And he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is, but I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as what I could have.
There should be an awful amount of people
breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, Athletic Commissions, like you said,
it wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize fight. It was an event. If Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, but the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his? Because
it's a professional boxing.
Do you know what? If I was Joshua, I would be saying I don't want that on my record. But for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, "No, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight." And I found it. I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near is his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like
beat Jake Paul.
Well, beat Jake Paul. But so
but what I'm saying is that's 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion, it's a very prestigious thing to do.
Sam Jones gave a raw and straightforward breakdown of the fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, saying it was difficult to watch, not because of extreme violence, but because of the visible gap in fundamentals. He argued that Paul struggled with core elements like defensive awareness, foot positioning, and reacting to combinations, which created a noticeable imbalance from round to round. According to Jones, the difference in ring IQ and experience was obvious, with Joshua controlling distance and tempo almost at will. He also acknowledged that some viewers felt certain exchanges looked overly measured, sparking online speculation about pacing and risk management, though no proof of wrongdoing has surfaced. In Jones's view, the fight highlighted the broader issue of celebrity-driven matchups entering elite boxing spaces, where entertainment value can sometimes blur the line between spectacle and authentic high-level competition, leaving traditional fans questioning the sport's competitive integrity.
Joshua knocking out and breaking Jake Paul's jaw. Just talk to me right now about the fight itself and then we'll break it down.
Bit of a crap fight, if we're all honest. It was like watching Jaws 2 when all the kids went out on their boats and they were in the middle of the sea and the shark was just surrounding the boat, just like that's what it was like. It was just like it was like a shark circling its prey and just like it was like nibbling and eventually got him. But Jake Paul showed big plums in there, no matter what anybody says about him, because I've seen people say, yeah, he went in there to survive. Yeah, okay, he went in there to survive. He's a guy that's been boxing a couple of years against a unified champion of the world who can really punch. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best fight. It just wasn't the best thing to watch, was it? Like it was just, it weren't great. I just want to see now Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. I think at the stages of their careers they're at, AJ and Tyson Fury, we don't need to see interim fights, Andrew. We don't need to see interim fights because they're just potential banana skins. We want to see two of the best heavyweights of this era going at it. And
in the aftermath of the bout between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, analyst Luke Thomas stepped forward with a sharp critique of the praise Paul received. Thomas argued that sharing the ring with a proven heavyweight champion should not automatically be framed as an achievement without serious evaluation of performance and risk. He stressed that the spectacle and promotional buzz surrounding the event distracted from the very real physical dangers of boxing, especially when experience levels are vastly different. Addressing the online rumors about scripted elements, Thomas cautioned that even unproven speculation can damage the sport's credibility if fans begin to see major fights as entertainment-first productions rather than authentic competition. In his view, celebrating these crossover spectacles without accountability risks normalizing a blurred boundary between showmanship and legitimate professional boxing.
Surviving kind of feeds into the story of him being perhaps a little bit better than we sometimes think, although I don't really co-sign on that. Let me make the point. The first point is, I think people are overreacting a little bit. People were suggesting when I got on social media that this was like the biggest farce they'd ever seen in their life, and that this was, how could he fight like this, and this was a disaster, and Joshua should have got him out there earlier. There is probably some evidence to suggest that I don't think Joshua was carrying him in the sense of, hey, they coordinated this ahead of time. But was Joshua really stepping on the gas? No, I don't think he was really stepping on the gas. There were times I think he clearly pulled his punches partly because Jake was squirmy and rotating on the outside. Also in part because I think, as I indicated on Friday, he's watching this guy with pretty bad footwork. He was literally tripping over himself, and he realized he just can't keep this up. So, okay, so there was that. But people were acting like, like, how could this be? How could this have happened? Guys, on Friday's MK, and then before that, earlier in the week on Submission Radio, they asked me on Submission Radio, how do you think he's gonna fight? And I'm like, he's gonna run. And they're like, you don't think he's gonna clinch? I'm like, okay, he'll clinch at times, but then the rest of the time he's going to run. Like, what other way was this going to go? What other way was this?
Chael Sonnen delivered sharp criticism of the bout between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, arguing that matchups like this carry serious danger when there's a clear gap in elite-level experience. Sonnen said the fight felt less like a pure sporting contest and more like a high-stakes survival scenario, where both physical safety and professional reputations were on the line. He emphasized that placing relatively inexperienced fighters in the ring with world-class heavyweights creates unnecessary risk, especially in a sport where one punch can change a life. Addressing the ongoing rumors about possible scripting, Sonnen warned that even the perception of manipulated pacing damages boxing's credibility. Observers noted that Paul's unusually cautious approach at times fueled speculation, with some interpreting it as smart self-preservation while others questioned whether certain exchanges appeared overly controlled. For Sonnen, blending celebrity spectacle with legitimate combat sports threatens the integrity of boxing and puts athletes in positions where entertainment value may overshadow safety and authenticity.
These guys fought. That was not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there, and he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition, and then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. I mean, he was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinched him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. He's getting to double leg positions. He was fighting. These guys were Jake was fighting for his survival, and you could so see it. You could see this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through, not even kill its prey, just make it through. And it was incredible. It was really incredible. So on the back end, some of the comments that I made or that I had heard were so confusing to me. It was a very good competition. I will tell you, it breaks my heart too that Anthony Joshua can't get him out of there in one round. Dave Portnoy had made a comment before the fight. He said, I like Jake. I wish well for Jake. Of course I'm taking Joshua. And then Portnoy made his point. And he said, because I believe in boxing. This isn't if I'm cheering for Jake or if I think that Joshua's more experienced or better. I believe in I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot compete with the Olympic champion.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and we'll see you next time.